And we jinxed you too as well. We kind of tricked you. This is our last one coming up here, day 3. Country Radio Seminar. So you walk out there and it's just like Hawks. You just get surprised. There's another one too, which is great. Save the best for last out there too. Brandon Morrill, Caden Gordon, KKTC, True Country 99.9, and of course out there too, hightidecountry.net, and powered by the Sports Guys Podcast.com. It's a grand slam of music and sports, and we get I love it. We're just talking about Songs of Nashville, the book due out with Jake Brown coming out too as well, which is going to be the real stories about country music's greatest hits and featuring stories behind the creation of more than 300 number one hits out there for Jake Brown. I can't wait to read this cover to cover here on KKTC 99.9 in South New Mexico. Thom Shepherd joining us here. What's up, man?
Hey, thanks for having me.
It's good. Hey, I love it, too, because it's paying tribute to great songwriters out there, which is great.
Songwriters, I love to hear the story behind the song. It's fascinating to me.
As
a writer, I want to know what's the secret. How do I write my next one? What can I steal from somebody else's experience? And
right.
Well, talking about this, you've been doing this a long time, and the music industry has changed so much in the last 30 years. But for you, how did you get started? How did you know this was kind of the niche for you? And just writing songs in general, was it kind of that natural calling?
Well, like all the way back to like elementary school, I remember when we would have to do creative writing in class. I always liked it. And I liked when they have to write poems or write whatever. And I remember, that day in school where the parents come to your class.
Yeah.
And they're sitting in the back of the room while you're doing your thing. And I remember we had to write a poem. And I wrote like funny poems. And I remember the parents like laughing at it. And I remember thinking, parents are getting it. Kids aren't. Parents are getting it. And I was like, I like this. And so I just, I was always interested in creative stuff. I wanted to go into filmmaking and film, I majored in that at George Mason University. And I ended up working for a guy that was an independent filmmaker in Virginia. So I did that, and I thought that's what I was going to do. But I started learning the guitar and playing music because I would like to say I'm a fan first. I'm a hardcore country music fan. I wanted to learn all these songs and then sort of write my own stuff. Anyway, long story short, I was playing music, and a friend of mine said, "What are you going to do when you graduate from college?" I said, "I don't know. I'll probably get a film and video job and play on the weekends." I said, "Well, why don't you go get a day job in Nashville? Then maybe something will happen."
Right.
And I got to town, and of course, everybody here back then said, "You have to write. You have to write." I said, "Yeah, I just want to sing and perform." They're like, "No, you got to write. It's true. You have to write. That's your identity." So that's kind of how the writing all started.
For the audience that may not know Thom Shepherd out there too as well, talk about just some of the songs you got behind and were successful with those artists out there recording your work. Talk about that.
I'll tell you, my first big hit was Riding with Private David Ball. And that song really just changed my life. And it allowed me to do it full time. That was 2001. So that one, and then Redneck Yacht Club was another one that was huge.
Craig Morgan,
Craig Morgan, and I've been fortunate. I've had my songs recorded now by people like Easton Corbin and Blake Shelton and John Anderson and George Jones.
Oh, it's possible.
I still can't believe I have a George Jones cover. But
which one was that?
It's called Me and the Boys.
Yeah.
And if you look it up, it's a duet with Kevin Fowler.
Oh, yeah.
So, Kevin.
Oh, Triple Crown, baby. Yes, sir.
Exactly. So it's a duet with Kevin. But if you look it up online, George's name's not on it. Oh. It just says Kevin Fowler, Me and the Boys. But it's a duet with George.
Now, what cut with Easton Corbin? I got to know that because Easton's a good friend of mine.
It's called I Think of You.
I Think of You, yep.
It's like the last track on it, I think, is the All Over the Road record.
The All Over the Road record, I Think of You.
Yeah.
We did some feature stuff with Easton Corbin here on the Backstage Pass. And of course, when he burst on the scene in 2010, I'll never forget. I got married that year, went to a show with my wife, and we said, first time we listened to a cut on the radio from him was All Over the Road. And she goes, "Is that George Strait?" And I looked back, and I was like, "No, honey, that's Easton Corbin."
Yeah.
And somebody was talking to us at the little club. We went down there in San Antonio, Texas, where she's from. And look back at it, and we're like, yeah, future superstar because of the selection of songs of 90s country is still kind of sticking around. Let me ask you about that, Thom, because all those great songs that are there from the decade of 80s and 90s music, that to me was like the definitive classic era of country that often imitated, never duplicated. But now we're seeing duplications come back from Zach Tops, the Randall Kings, the Josh Wards, the Kevin Fowlers. And there's that different feel of Texas country. And I just talked about this and got a history. Oh, man. Robert Earl King was on with me a couple of weeks ago.
Love Robert Earl.
Oh, my God. talk about 40 years of Americana music, 40 years of country music, how it's changed, how he got into it, just that old kind of folk singer type thing. There's a thirst or a hunger, Tom, for this music to come back. And I think this slate of country artists that are doing it right now, they're doing it the right way. But why is that so important, Tom, for that music now to kind of have this resurgence, if you will?
Well, I think it's because people want meaningful stuff. You know, I mean, there was the bro country era where it was very kind of, you know, just really not kind to women. And just, I mean, that's, like I said, the 90s country, that was the stories, the stuff that mattered to people, you know, the stuff that touched your heart. All I could say is thank God country's coming back. I'm finally seeing it. I moved to Nashville in 93, and for years, my friends and co-writers would say, it's going to come back around. After several years, I'm like, I don't think it's coming back around. I want it to, but I don't think it is. But hallelujah for people like Zach, Tom, Jake Worthington, Randall King, Cody Johnson. You know what I mean? They are great vocalists, and they're singing great songs that matter. And I think that's what people want. They don't want a bunch of crap. You know,
Yeah. And I respect everybody in all genres and things like that out there too. But when you turn it on, and I'm in the car, he's in the car with me. We just went to that little event last night at the Joseph across the street. You look up, you see Shenandoah playing like an acoustic set, Marty and Mike and all that good stuff out there. You start saying to yourself, you know what? That's why 2 Dozen Roses has been around for over 30 years.
That is absolutely right.
It took one song for a group to take off. And then they start collaborating with all these great artists out there like Luke Combs and Luke Bryan and things like that to keep that song alive. And you only had to ask those artists like one time. And Marty was talking about that last night. Oh, Luke's, you know, busy, and he may not want to. Luke said it'd be my honor to re-record that thing because that one song was written, and I can't remember, it escapes me now who that was written by.
Mac McAnally.
Mac McAnally. There you go. Just a tremendous song, and then of course everything Next to You, Next to Me, and all the things that Marty said last night gives me goosebumps just talking about that particular area.
Great stuff. I'm really excited because I'm working with the same company as Shenandoah now. They're called 8 Track Entertainment.
Yeah.
They have Ira Dean and Dan Tominski and Boomtown Saints in Shenandoah.
Love Chris Ramos from Boomtown Saints. I love Chris. He was on the other day with us there too. They just Boomtown Saints. Watch out! All trucks go to heaven, and the songs they're picking right now too. Yes. There's a lot of fuel to that fire. Throw gas to that fire, which is good. Boomtown Saints.
That's right.
You watch. I made some bold predictions. You probably agree to that group right now.
They have great material.
It is great material. It's all in the songs.
Too.
That's right.
Hey, will you come back with us and do a full length one of these?
Yeah, for sure. I would love to.
I know they're about to throw us out of here. They took my sign down, so that's.
Oh no. Well, you guys are all over the place. I know you're down in Texas. You're in New Mexico. Just look, if you're near Houston, Texas.
Okay.
The end of March 27th and 30th, we're putting on a festival called Lone Star Luau.
Okay.
So it's in Lake Conroe.
Okay, right up my road. Yeah, right up the road from me.
Singer-songwriters. It's beach country. It's Texas music. So come to Lone Star Luau. If you live near Houston, you will love it.
Can you invite me out? You gonna be there?
You're already on the list.
We're on the list. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So Tom's putting me on the list right there. If you want to fly in, you can have to do that too. So I know it takes some time.
Yeah.
I'd love to do it because Conroe is like an hour, 15 minutes from where I live.
Bring your whole rig, your whole podcast rig.
Could do the whole rig and set up and do it live. We'll do that. We'll talk about that too as well. Hey, it's been a privilege. 3 days. Thank you for sitting in.
Yeah, thanks.
I've enjoyed this so much. I tell you, man, it's fast how it's over. In the last day, 12 o'clock, they're like, that's it. We'll take your sign down, all the good stuff. But appreciate you guys out there, hightidecountry.net, and, of course, the sportsguyspodcast.com, where you can find all the archived interviews. March 4th, Brantley Gilbert right here on the show for a full-length interview. We'll be co-hosting that. Kaylee Hammock coming on in the next few weeks. She's got that great show out there, too, as well, on SiriusXM, which is Prime Country. I almost said the highway, but it's Prime Country out there, too. She does a great job with that. And just a whole host of artists, man. Tyler Farr is going to be coming on in a few weeks, talking about some new records, new music he's putting out, and a whole slew of shows coming up there. We did not have Shay Lynn. She'll be coming back. Big Machine's on Shay Lynn. We'll do a virtual one with her and play some music, too, out there. KKTC, True Country, 99.9, the CadenGordonShow.com. Today's best country mix. Our privilege to have all these great artists and songwriters on over the last few days. And I'd love to bring the rig down there with Thom Shepherd.
Bring it on.
That's right. That's right.
Coming up there in Conroe, Texas. Love that out there. Do-Si Do's out there, one of the famous venues.
One of my favorite venues.
I love that place. We'll sign off for now, too. Again, KKTC, True Country, 99.9, hightidecountry.net, and powered by the sportsguyspodcast.com for Caden Gordon. This is Brandon Morrill. It's been our privilege to bring you this coverage out there. Amazing Country Radio Seminar 2025 from the Omni Hotel live in Nashville, Tennessee. Comes to a close. Be back again next year. And, of course, CMA Week 2025 coming up in June. We'll be broadcasting live from the Music City Center coming up here in just a few months. We'll have more information on that when we get back to town. Till then, God bless. Take care. More great music coming up. Stay tuned.